Hello and welcome to the video. So today we'll be looking at anxiety in public speaking, and it will be focused more towards class presentations, but this will be also applicable to business presentations or just getting over certain anxieties that you have in life. So let me start. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is unconscious stress, but we can consciously see the effects of unconscious stress uh, through the fact that people get shaky, their voices will wobble, their hearts will race. You will feel your heart racing when you get anxious. You will get panicky, and people will either overthink, or there's too much going on in their heads, and they're just thinking about every single possibility, or they will underthink. So there's too much going on, and they actually can't think of anything at all, or anything logical. But the good thing is that because we can see the effects of unconscious stress, we can actually work on reducing those effects and potentially getting rid of it by 99% because you don't want it to actually be eliminated. So, how do we tackle anxiety? Well, it's the concept of forward movement. Forward movement isn't actually always leaving your comfort zone. Forward movement can begin with thinking about leaving your comfort zone. So, whether it's talking to this person, going out to learn this new sport, going out to this new class, going out to do this presentation. If you think about doing it, you will actually initiate the forward movement without having to actually do it. Once you've thought about it, you then do it. And that over time will reduce the fear response we have in our brains. We have this amygdala thing, whatever it's called, and that is responsible for causing fear in our brain. That's responsible for the fear response. But the more you leave your comfort zone, it will actually increase your ability to get over hard challenges by reducing that zone in your brain. So instead of saying, no, I don't want to do it, I'm too scared, it's like, oh, I did something similar before, it's fine. But what's actually quite cool is that the more you do it, the more you get over a challenge that is quite difficult, your brain will release dopamine. And with dopamine, there's always a spike. There's always a pinnacle to dopamine. It's never steady, it's always a pinnacle. And when the pinnacle happens, it will start to go down. When it starts to go down, that's when serotonin goes up. Once serotonin goes up, you feel happy. You're like, I'm so happy I did this. Or and if you finish an exam, for example, I know you feel like, oh, so happy the exam's over. That's the serotonin going up after the dopamine's gone down. So the more you stop at stage one, the more you build the fear response due to conditioning, right? Whatever it's called, negative reinforcement, right? So if you are someone who always backs out of hard challenges, you will actually limit yourself in the future. So make sure you actually try to get out of your comfort zone because you in 10 years will wish you went back and actually did those things. What else can you do? Meditation. If you cannot sit for 10 minutes straight, just 10 minutes, without thinking of two to, let's say, 100,000, a million, billion, however fast your mind can go, different things, you've got some work to do. And a common misconception people have about meditation is the first thing is it's not just sitting down and thinking about, it's not just sitting down going on. Meditation can be anything you want it to be. It can be running. Your meditation when you're running can be thinking about the next step, thinking about your heart rate, thinking about your breath, thinking about your problems that you have, thinking about your work. So as long as you're doing this thing, that can be meditative. Meditation can also be when you're swimming, thinking about the next stroke you want to do. It can be when you're doing breath work. It can be the next breath you're doing, whether you're doing fast breathing, slow breathing, doubling your breath speed. That's a meditation. Whether you're just thinking about a certain color, like the color white, for example, whether you're thinking about a sound, like maybe your fan, those are all meditations. And the second misconception people have is it's not thinking about nothing. Meditation is thinking about one thing. That could be mindfulness, why you are so happy that you're alive, why you're so happy that you have the people around you, why you're so happy that you can wake up and you can eat food because other people can't. That is meditation. It's thinking about one thing. And I hope it addressed that concept to you, because I'm someone who finds that whenever I try to meditate and think about nothing at all, the benefit will be about 25% more, but it's 50% harder. So if I sit down for 10 minutes to try and meditate, I can only do 5 if I'm trying to think of nothing, right? So that's important. And sorry for the long-winded, you know. What can you do? What did I write here? Oh yeah. So think about whatever makes you anxious, whatever you want to improve on, and try your best to leave your comfort zone. If you want to meet new people, right? Keeping in constant communication with these people is very important, because there will be times where you meet new people, you think you're friends with them, they never message you, right? But what will happen is the stronger connection you make with someone, the more you reach out to them, they will reach out to you. Just reciprocal. And continue to get better at your hobbies, because chances are if you have a hobby, there will be someone, a group of people, a community who share the same hobby. And those people are your gateway to make friends. They're your gateway to learn new things. They're your gateway to provide value to your community. They're the people where you can share what you love and feel happy about sharing it. So, I know you want to get into presenting in class, so let's get to it. Before your presentation, make sure you're prepared. You know why. Make sure you're prepared, my friends. Make sure you know the gist of what you're talking about. That's important, because if you're making your presentation an hour before, you won't really get the gist. You want to get the gist at least a couple of days before your actual presentation. That will give your brain time to sit, sleep, think, organize, and process everything that's going on. Prepare many notes. If you're new to this public speaking thing, if you're new to doing class presentation, it doesn't matter if you have flashcards where you go through them. Just make sure you're not reading like this. Just make sure there's just a bullet point on each flashcard so you can refer back to your slides. If you're using PowerPoint, do not put PowerPoint in your slides, right? Sorry, do not put paragraphs in your slides. That is very, very important, because when you're presenting, they're supposed to be looking at you. They're not supposed to be looking at a huge blob of text there talking about the Renaissance, right? And at least 5 minutes before, do some sort of breathing exercise. 4x4 breathing is great, because the way I like to describe 4x4 breathing is whenever my heart is going boom, 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 boom. 4x4 breathing is when you count for 4 seconds. So you hold for 4 seconds. You breathe out, hold again. And what you'll notice is you will feel your heart, because of your breath holds, and your heart will start go from going boom, 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 boom to boom, 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 boom. So that's why it's very important. It will slow down your heart and transitively slow down your anxiety, or reduce anxiety. Now let's get to during the presentation. So start off very loud. You have to wake the class up. No one actually cares about what you're doing, right? Wake the class up, make sure everyone's looking at you. Not so loud that you make the ceiling, like your vocal projection goes off the ceiling and there's a ring. I'm someone who's quite susceptible to that. I am quite a loud person, which is why I try to limit my voice. It sounds stupid, but it attracts all eyes and it forces people in the class to get silent. Once you've started off loud, drop your voice to the point where people at the back can hear quite well. If it's a huge room, you have a microphone, but make sure the people at the back can hear. It's good to be nervous. And I say this because you would rather listen to someone who is nervous compared to that one person you know who's a know-it-all. That one person who thinks they're the boss, they're the queen, they're the one that knows everything and they're smarter than everyone here, and everyone now is in the classes are all peasants, right? No one wants to listen to that person. Everyone would rather listen to the person who's nervous, who's a bit shy, who's, not used to it, where you'll be smiling at that person, rooting on for them. And finally, like I said before, no one actually cares about what you're talking about, right? Everyone's concerned about their own presentation. But it's good because in the workplace, you will use those skills that you built during doing your class presentations, during your work meetings, what you learned from there, the way you learn to process information and convey information and data, you'll be able to say to your manager, to your boss, to your colleagues in a nice, easy way. And finally, after presenting, ask your lecturer, ask your teacher, ask your friends what you could do to improve. This is vital because you have to know what you've done wrong, what you can do better next time, and how you can improve as an individual. You have to ask whether the content was too long or too short. If the content is too long, people get bored. If the content is too short, people cannot follow you, right? That's very important. Ask someone who is at the back of the class if they can hear you. That's important. Say, hey, could you hear me? Right? Ask them. And think to yourself what you could do better and whether it's congruent to other people's feedback. And that's important because if you think X, Y, and Z was quite difficult and something you need to improve on, but there's also A, B, and C that you didn't know was an issue, that's not congruent. But once you get the other people's feedback, now you know X, Y, Z, A, B, C is something you need to improve on, or X, Y, and Z, you were too harsh on yourself. Those were actually quite good. Focus on A, B, and C, right? That's very important because for me, I was not aware that I lacked tone during my speeches. I lack tone now as well, but it's something I need to work on myself. So yeah, and then I have table topics here, but I'm not actually teaching this at all on Monday. But yeah, if you have any questions, go in the comments. Hope you have a good day and happy presenting. Bye.